Hello, this is Joe83, and this is episode 7 of the My Team Lotus F120 career mode. And we're here looking at a bit of the R&D. I thought I'd show for the first time what all our upgrades are doing. The aero section is going really well. We've got a lot of upgrades on there, and I think we're about 5th fastest on the aero, but the chassis is still really poor. And also the powertrain is okay, but obviously Mercedes sort of carries that. But yeah, not too much to shout about there. So yeah, that's that. The R&D tree, and here we are for the biggest race of the season, the most challenging race of the season, but also potentially one of the best races because the AI are very poor here at Monaco, so we could have a good chance of getting some decent points, although with the AI being poor, I'm also pretty poor at this track. I am on the wheel, which makes it slightly easier, but yeah, I've still never been that great at it. I do enjoy it when you get it right, but it's so hard to nail. And through the practice programs, I got purple on the track acclimatization, and then through the tyre wear test now, only just up on a delta, so we've got to keep pushing, which means that I've lost my purple score. So it's only going to be 30 points for the tyre wear test. And then you can see here, I actually failed all of the other ones, which is not a good start to the weekend, but I think there's something wrong with them. I see a lot of people struggling to do the practice programs at Monaco. So yeah, straight into qualifying, the most important qualifying session of the season, because it's so hard to overtake around here. And this is my first lap in Q1. I'd be kind of hopeful to get out of Q1. As I said, the AI pretty poor, but coming through the Nouvelle chicane, getting loads of oversteer and exit. I think I might have tapped the wall on the exit of the Nouvelle, and that's really hampered my run through here. But we're going to finish lap anyway, and through the swimming pool section, and trying to take as much speed through here as possible. Obviously, a lot more open than it used to be. And through Rascas now, I'll try and keep it as close to the inside wall as possible, almost clipping it there, which would be very bad. Not quite as much speed as possible taken through there, and through Antino's trying to get a good run as possible. And coming across the line is actually slower than my teammate Delatraz. It's currently last place of everyone who's set time so far. And yeah, going into the end of the session now, we really need to get a good lap in because I don't want to be starting last in Monaco. That's the nightmare scenario, really. But through turn 1, I already gained a 10th and a half, and through the first sector now, trying to keep it as close to the wall on the left. Very nicely done there, and down to third gear for the right-hander. Down towards the mirror boat and braking just at the grey part of the barrier there on the left, and trying to take as much speed through here, but gone a little bit wide. And then through the chicane, first gear, obviously try and mount the curb on the inside, but a little bit wide there as well, which means my exit is not good at all. And we're back down to only just being up on the time. At one point we were like 3/10 up, and now we're pretty much level again on the exit of the into the tunnel, which yeah was not a good exit at all. So unfortunately, it's looking like a pretty poor lap so far, but obviously we've got that time to gain on the exit of the Nouvelle chicane because I made the mistake previously, but we're topping over the curb nicely there, not really cutting it. And then the exit here, trying to take it nice and smooth, and we've gained half a second there. You can see how much time that cost me on the first run. And through the swimming pool section now, obviously flat out through the first, down to fourth gear for the second one, keeping it nice and close to the barrier on the right hand side. Very nice flow through here, and through Rascas now down to second gear, keeping it nicely to the right hand side, but swing it to the left for the final corner, and Anthony Nogues. And just coming across the line now, it's going to be up to a second improvement. Where would it put me on the grid though? And it's only 19th place. I was very surprised about that because, yeah, only being ahead of the Williams and my teammate. But we did luckily have enough fuel for another lap. Just about. So yeah, this is that lap, and through the first sector now, try and keep it in fourth gear this time. A little brush at the wall there, which probably cost me a bit of time, but only just up on this lap. But through Mirabeau, very much more speed taken through there, and through the Lowe's hairpin onto the curb a little bit better, keeping it more narrow, which is going to be a much better exit. And we're 3/10 up now if you can keep a good exit into the tunnel. And second gear, keeping it nice and close to the inside wall and the outside wall. And yeah, 3/10 up now, so it's going to be a very good lap if we can just carry it on and finish it in a good way. I think I've got some slight wing damage at some point, which is obviously going to hamper my time, but down 80 meters for the Nouvelle chicane, hopping over the curb again nicely, staying inside the lines, and out down towards the high speed to back corner. And through the swimming pool section, trying to keep as much speed as possible. Not quite as much as last time. We lost about a 10th compared to our previous lap. Over the curbs nicely, and then down towards Rascas, second gear once again, keeping it nice and wide entry, getting a lot of speed through there, and keeping a wide as possible for the last corner. Opening DRS down towards the finish line. It's going to be a 2.5 improvement. Where will it put me on the grid? I've run out of fuel slightly as well, and I think it was only 18th place, which is a pretty poor qualifying, really. Obviously ahead of the Williams and my teammate Delatraz, which is to be expected, really. And also I think I beat Lance Stroll in qualifying. Yes, we did. So out in Q1 though, which is I was a bit disappointed by. You can see only a 10th off Giovinazzi, which I probably had still to find that lap, but didn't quite get it hooked up properly. So that's going to leave me in a very bad position for the race. But here we are on the grid from I think 17th because Gasly had an engine penalty once again. I'm going to underfuel the car quite heavily, but onto the grid for the fire red lights for the Monaco Grand Prix from 17th place on the grid. and it's lights out, and away we go. Pretty short hold, but Kvyat's got a good start. Giovanazzi's gone to the left straight away. It's going to give me space to go up the inside and into the 15th place already. Kvyat's going to brake very early, trying to swing it and just about avoid his back end, but he's going to get the more open line around the outside and take that position back. But Magnussen's here getting a very good exit. He's going to go back through on the inside into 15th, and back down to 16th. We're going round the outside of Kevin Magnussen in his Haas into Casino Square, third gear for the exit. We've got the inside line, a little bit of a slide just to make sure that we get it. Now down the inside of Mirabeau on Kvyat and Romain Grosjean in the other Haas car, but he's just about still at the inside, but he's going to have to brake early with Lando Norris pretty much stopped in front of us. Obviously, we've seen this a few times with the AI at the first laps are very poor. So yeah, once again, another example of that. But we're up into 13th place, up 4 places on half a lap in Monaco, which is a very difficult feat to achieve, but we've just about done it. Down to chicane, Grosjean's going to have a chance though. He's very close to my back end. We're going to have to brake late, and he's not going to send it, luckily, and getting it nicely turned in forward and over our chicane. And now we've got to try and close on the back of Lando Norris, but it might be quite difficult. But lap 4, we had a little bit of a gap emerging between the two Renault cars you can see in the mini-map. We got Ocon on the softs, and then myself, Raikkonen and Norris, not in that order, just behind him, all a little bit faster on mediums it looks like, and obviously Grosjean's still behind, but a little bit further back. And Raikkonen's actually got a terrible exit there. Norris is going to try up the inside into the tunnel. Very nice move, opportunistic there from the Brit in the McLaren. And Raikkonen is now the next car on my hit list to try and take down. But it would be very difficult, obviously, to pass at this circuit is almost impossible, especially in real life. On the game, it's slightly more forgiving. But let's have a little look at the race start again. You can see two Mercedes on the front row once again with the Ferraris and Red Bulls behind. Looks like a very comfortable start from Bottas, who got pole. And yeah, meanwhile, in the background, I had to dive out of the way of Kvyat. We almost went too narrow, really, into turn 1. We didn't manage to not cut the corner, but that obviously gave Magnussen a good chance to get back at me down the up the hill towards Casino Square, and we know the rest is history. So yeah, coming into lap 6 now, Raikkonen was just going so slowly, obviously being hemmed in a lot by Ocon and Norris. He actually made a bit of a mistake there, down to neutral by accident, slightly tapping his back end. But you can see through the out of that corner into the tunnel here, and Raikkonen has just bolted off that corner. And really, because the chassis is so poor at low speed, it's really hard to get the good exits. And we saw that quite a lot in this race. So a few laps later on lap 9 now, and we've got another opportunity maybe down towards this section. But yeah, through these few corners, I was much better than the AI, it felt like, especially the Lotus hairpin. And Ocon is going very slowly on her softs, and Raikkonen having to brake early. We may trying a little bit of a different line, try maybe do a switchback, which is a very difficult at the lowest speed corner on the calendar. Yeah, it didn't quite go off that time, but now down towards very close to him on the exit here. But Raikkonen has got such a good exit that we're nowhere near close enough. I didn't use much ERS there because we haven't got much saved up. But yeah, I'm really getting hampered. I feel like I go a lot quicker than this. And Ocon is sort of training us all up now. You can see on the minimap it goes back to about Lance Stroll, I think, in about 16th place. Yeah, really struggling to get past this little train of Ocon, Norris and Raikkonen. And we got very close to the hairpin, in the hairpin again there. And now exiting through the tunnel. Not quite close enough, it looks like, and once again that exit, I got a little bit of oversteer there, making a bit of a mistake, but Raikkonen is way further clear than I would like, down towards the hairpin, and Grosjean's actually closer to me than I am to Raikkonen, but he doesn't go for a move, obviously, and taking that nice exit there, out to into the final sector, which I feel like I'm quite strong at. Yeah, 5th gear for this one, then fully flat out, even on heavy fuel through this section. 4th gear for the next one, towards Raskas. And Raikkonen is going to have to brake a little bit early with Norris just ahead. And we're going to look for the space that's there, around the outside of Raskas on the Alfa Romeo driver. And we've just about made it work into anti-nose. We've got the inside line, we've got the nose ahead, sorry. And we're up ahead of the fin in the Alfa Romeo. And actually loads of cars in the pits as well. But that was an unbelievable move. I was so happy with that. And yeah, obviously a lot of the soft runners have now pit as well, so up to 6th place, but it's not a net position yet. And now through the swimming pool section on the very next lap, actually, Ocon's still going extremely slowly, maybe trying the same thing on Norris, but it doesn't quite work out. He's going to go over to the left-hand side, and then Ocon is going to peel into the pits. So yeah, up into what will be 5th place, actually. Lando Norris up in 4th. A few of the medium runners are still going, but all the soft runners now have pit, I think. So yeah, coming out of the turn 1, Norris has got a very good exit. And Raikkonen's actually got an even better exit. I don't know where that came from, because that run was not even that bad. And Raikkonen just absolutely sorted it out and went flying up the outside, up the hill towards Casino Square, and left me with no way to defend. And unfortunately, all that hard work at the first 10 laps has been undone as Kimi Raikkonen has got back past me. I really don't know how that happened. He must have been using loads of ERS, but now Magnussen's out of the race. Safety car deployed, and I'm going to peel off into the pits. My pit window, I think, was 16. Lap 16, so obviously lap 13 isn't that different. I'm going to peel into the pits, as has Lando Norris. Going to go onto the hard tyres, And interestingly, Raikkonen stayed out on his mediums, so he's going to lose out quite heavily probably. And down towards the end of the pits, Louis is in the pits as well, but who really cares? And the team are going to give me a 1.9 second pit stop. I think that's the best pit stop all season, and saved it for the right track, because that's actually jumped me ahead of Lando Norris. I think probably got held in the pits, but now that raises me up into, I think, a net 11th or maybe 10th once everyone pits. So very happy with that. We're into the points now. You can see 10th place. And yeah, jumping the McLaren there, very well done to the team. But our safety car restart, they're just going so slowly. I think it's the Mercedes of Hamilton leading the race in a minute. Raikkonen's up at about 4th, but obviously hasn't pit yet. All these drivers, other than Raikkonen, are going to the end. So our net 9th currently. And we've got Sergio Perez, the Mexican, who pit a little bit early on medium tyres. So he's going to be struggling towards the end if he goes to the end. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see if we can close up on him, as the Racing Point is a bit faster than the likes of the Renault and the Alfa Romeo that we were quicker than earlier in the race. But that exit at the first corner was absolutely dreadful, and Perez has gone already. And quite a lot later into the race, at 23, and Perez did start struggling on those mediums. And that's given me a good chance now down towards Rascasse, maybe thinking about a similar move to the one we pulled on Raikkonen earlier. Try and line up a bit of a switchback maybe, but Perez is going to go very slowly on exit. And now through the final corner. Obviously DRS is now open, but unfortunately the traction zone's there and out into the tunnel. I was just really poor at all race, so I didn't really have a chance down towards turn 1. And yeah, a couple laps later, at 25, down towards Nova Chicane, we weren't close enough for a move, but we've still got Lando Norris. Perez made a mistake actually, and we maybe have a chance down towards the swimming pool section to back, but not quite. Perez holding that inside line is so difficult to pass in this section of the track, and yeah, can't get past him this time. We're up into 9th now. I think Raikkonen did pit quite a bit ago, but Perez making another small mistake there. This could give us a good chance down towards the chicane. If we're close enough. It's a bit annoying DRS isn't here, but obviously for a safety reason it can't be, but braking very late. We're not close enough for a move, unfortunately, but maybe thinking about the exit. A little bit of contact there at the back of the Racing Point, but no, the exit was very poor. Just checking I didn't get damaged there, and yeah, very poor exit out of Nova Chicane, and that didn't really give me a chance. But now a lot later on, we're right all over the back of Perez again through the final corner, but that traction zone just was really poor for me. And you can see we've got a bit of a gap now out of the points, and Ocon's out of the race as well, which is another safety car, which is not really going to do much to the race, I don't think, because it's so close to the end now, lap 31, that no one's going to risk pitting and losing track position. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. We actually had quite a bit of a gap behind Norris before that safety car, but unfortunately everyone's closed up now, so we've still got to be very careful not to make mistakes, otherwise we might drop out the points still. But Perez is definitely there for the taking, because on those old tyres he is very slow, and these hards are still doing absolutely fine. So we've got to try and keep pushing and making a move on the Mexican driver for that 8th place, which is the only position we finished if we've got points this season, and I want to make that happen again. So through to back now. Perez too far ahead on this occasion, but maybe through this section with my higher grip tyres, and I was very confident through here the whole weekend. Perez just ahead of me into Rascasse, maybe thinking about a switchback move down towards the final corner, although it seemed my traction's very poor, but Perez is even worse, and we're going to go down the inside into anti-nose. Very aggressive move, and we put Perez in a wall slightly, but I think there was no damage done. You can see on the, behind me, Stroll has absolutely bolted off that final corner, got ahead of Norris and got ahead of Perez, so I was praising myself for my move, but Stroll's just going 2 places around the outside into turn 1, so very fair play to the Canadian. I think that move was very much on the edge. I don't think there would have been a penalty for it in real life, but I did feel slightly bad because it basically lost Perez any chance of points, but yeah, not that bad because I didn't like have a penalty or anything, so whatever. But coming around the final corner now, very last lap of the race, Stroll was unable to make a move, so it's going to be 8th place again in the Lotus, and yeah, more points on the board. And once again, it's 8th place. That's my 4th time in 7 races that we finished in that position. Valtteri Bottas won the race from Leclerc and Verstappen. And yeah, you saw the rest of the top 10. Very good finishing position. Unfortunately, my teammate Delatraz finished 14th, which is actually quite good for him. Shout out to Russell in 13th as well. Very well done to him. 2 DNFs of Ocon and Magnussen, both of which causing safety cars. Perez actually got fastest lap, but also finished last. I don't know whose fault that was. And yeah, coming to look at the standings, it's going to be 12th place. Sainz has gone ahead of me, but Raikkonen has got behind me, so staying in the same place. I'm not too bothered about the constructors, the drivers really this season, because obviously nowhere near doing anything good. But the higher the better, I suppose. And then constructors, we're a little bit ahead of AlphaTauri now, which is a good place to be. I think 8th place is a good target. And yeah, you can see all the result rivalry and everything. We just about beat Stroll. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. This has been J183, and I will see you next time.